Good morning and happy Sunday. I want to start a little differently today because at first, this might sound like something we've talked about before, and in some ways it is, but where this goes is a lot more uncomfortable than most people expect. Here's today's question. When I stop doing everything for people, why do some of them disappear? And if you've been in that spot, you already know how quickly your mind turns on you. You start replaying things, wondering if you pulled back too much or missed something. And there's this pull to step back in and smooth it over before it turns into something you can't get back. But if you don't rush to fix it right away and you let yourself sit in it for a minute, another question usually shows up. And this is the one people don't like sitting with. Not just what are they doing, what was actually holding this together before you changed how you were showing up? Because if you've been the one reaching out, remembering things, checking in, keeping conversations going, making sure nothing falls apart, that wasn't just something extra you were doing. That was part of how the relationship worked, whether anyone ever said it aloud or not. And when that shifts even a little, you don't just notice the other person, you notice what it feels like for you not to be in that role the same way anymore. And that's where this starts going deeper than most people expect, because part of what kept you there might not have only been the relationship itself. Part of it was how it felt to be that person in it. When you're the one holding things together, there's a kind of certainty that comes with that, right? You know where you stand. You know how to keep the connection close. And if you're honest with great clarity, you don't have to wonder as much if it's still there, because you're the one making sure it is. You weren't just keeping the relationship going, you were keeping your place in it from slipping further and further away. That's the part that hits people when they really let it in, because now you're not only looking at what the other person was doing or not doing, you're also seeing what that role was giving you. And there are times in life where that makes sense. If someone's going through something heavy, or they're barely holding things together, you're trying to hold on to a connection that matters to you, of course you lean in more. That doesn't come from a bad place. But there's a difference between carrying someone through a hard stretch and quietly becoming the thing the relationship depends on to keep working. Most people don't notice exactly when that shift happens. They feel it over time, though. You leave certain conversations more tired than you expected. You think about seeing that person, and instead of feeling glad, you feel responsible, or you start realizing the connection doesn't really move unless you're the only one moving it. And when you get to that point, the question changes. It's not only why are they pulling away, it's what has this relationship been running on this whole time? And sometimes, when you really let yourself look at it without cleaning it up or explaining it away, you start to see something that's hard to unsee. If it only feels close when you keep putting into it, that's not closeness. That's something you've been maintaining. That's where the idea of transaction stops being a concept and starts feeling real. Not in some cold or calculated way, but in the sense that the connection holds together as long as something keeps being given into it. Your time, your attention, your effort, your willingness to keep it showing up in a way that keeps it feeling intact. And once you see that, it doesn't just change how you look at the other person. It changes how you understand your place in it. Because now, you're not only dealing with the relationship shifting, you're sitting with the fact that part of what made it feel steady was the role you were playing inside it. That feeling of being needed and being the one who could keep it going, of knowing you mattered because the connection depended on you, that's not easy to let go. So the pull to go back isn't only about fixing the relationship, it's about getting back to a version of it where you felt more certain, where you didn't have to question where you stood. But once you see it clearly like this, you're in a different place, whether you like it or not. You're not only reacting anymore, you're deciding what you're willing to keep giving your time and energy to, now that you understand what it's actually been built on. And if you do start choosing differently, don't be surprised if it feels a little lonelier at first, because you're not just changing the relationship, you're letting go of the version of you that knew how to keep it. That doesn't mean you made the wrong call. It means you're adjusting to something more honest, and honesty doesn't always feel better right away. So instead of trying to think your way through all of this, pay attention to something a little simpler. After you spend time with someone, or even when you think about seeing them, notice what's there without explaining it. Do you feel cared for, or do you feel used up? Do you feel more like yourself, or more responsible for holding everything together? Those answers tend to tell you the truth faster than anything else. And this is what ridiculously real mental health looks like here. Sometimes what felt like closeness was something you were working hard to keep feeling that way. Not fake, not meaningless, but as mutual as it seemed while you were carrying most of it. That's a hard thing to see. It's also something you can finally make decisions with. Thank you for trusting me with this. If you want to share your story or a question, email me at drshannon@kfes12.com. And always remember, you are worth it. Lean into being the best version of yourself, one small step at a time. Happy Sunday.